It's January 18, 2026, and I just completed C.S. Lewis, A Grief Observed. And if you've been watching any of my book reviews or my channel, you'll see that first I read all of the Chronicles of Narnia, and then I bought another box set that included a random assemblage of several of his books, and I've read several of them. I have a few left, and I'm probably going to go ahead and read a few more after that box set is done. But this book, A Grief Observed, is, of course, he's a Christian, so that's the first thing you have to know. But it isn't really, there isn't scripture based in this book so much. It is more just random thought. And I will warn you about this book. Depending on what kind of loss you've gone through or the proximity of time, right, it could bring back a lot of stuff. And it did for me. Because I read it, I had not been through a very recent loss, but I've been through some fairly recent losses. And one was my best friend. And then I've had some profound ones before that I don't want to go into. But this brought a lot of that back. And it is tough because he starts off pretty dark, even for a believer. I guess the story is that he almost gave up on God. And I don't understand that myself because I've gone through stuff as a believer and I felt like he's my basis in just surviving it, right? He's the strength I need to get through it. And I never got angry at God. So I'm going to discuss right now the 5 stages of grief, which you're probably familiar with, but maybe not. And the acronym is DABDA: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. So he didn't go into denial too much because his wife was already dying of cancer when he got with her. And I think in the book he says they were married about 10 years. So she made it quite a bit longer than she was supposed to have. The problem he had, you could tell, is that he was very deep into her. And that's one of the dangers that you have with putting your partner on a pedestal. So I will tell you, this is specifically about dealing with death of a partner, but basically, in a nutshell, it is loss of a partner. So it can be, depending on what you've gone through, applicable, whether it's death or not, just loss of a partner. So he doesn't go into denial too much. He sure got angry, though, and his anger wasn't just anger. It was anger at God to the point of, why did you do this to her? Well, scripture tells you that we live in a fallen world and that we're going to go through suffering because of the world being fallen and the original sin that caused all of our troubles. It's all cascaded onto all of us, and therefore we suffer. Had not the original sin happened, we would not have gone through these things at all. So it's not fair to blame God, even though he did. And then the bargaining, you didn't get that in the book so much. Surely you got the depression. So this was like a log, and it went on for several weeks and months, I guess. And he'd write as he goes and then say, okay, now I'm at this time frame of weeks and I'm thinking this and that. And the beginning kind of made me a little bit mad at him because he should have never blamed God for all that. But as he came around, he's basically at the end, past the depression into the acceptance. It seemed like it didn't take him that long to get there. And being that she was facing a terminal illness and he knew about it when he met her, I guess, it's not like it was surprising, right? Even though he had a long 10 years with her, he probably had a false sense of, well, maybe she'll go on forever after all. I don't know. Maybe he got just used to that. And then there was that, oh, wait, it isn't going to happen after all. But it's basically loss of a partner, whether it's death or whatever. And so it brought a lot of bad stuff back for me. And the acceptance part of the 5 stages of grief, he kind of talks about, and you can get addicted to suffering. He discusses that in the book. It's like, you know, you're carrying around a corpse with you and you get used to it. And the thing about acceptance is that he describes it as somebody losing a leg, and that you feel it pretty much forever, that there's going to be some pain from that situation that goes on forever. And it sounds about right. The way that I would describe these things I've been through is that you kind of put them into a box and push the box aside, and then every once in a while the box opens up and it's like, oh, it's there again, and it sucks. And then you have to, nope, close that box shut. I don't want to deal with that anymore because it's done and I can't do anything about it. I don't think that's the same as the word acceptance. It's putting it aside, I guess, because that's all you can do. And it's frustrating because it doesn't go away. And but the thing that, like I say, is if you're anchored to God, He can get you through it. Just don't give up because He's walking with you. It's not His fault. Whether it's a death or whatever, it's not His fault. He wants to walk with you and help you out. Um, let's see, what else did he say in here? Anyway, it was more meandering. It was like a log. It wasn't like a Christian book. It was like the log of what happened to a Christian and how he reacted. And perhaps he didn't react that well. And I mean, I guess some people would understand the feeling of being mad at God for something happening to somebody they care about, but I don't get that. It's not His fault. So this was less of a Christian book than a lot of the other ones that I'd read from him. It kind of made me feel crummy. And in essence, when you look back on some of these things that happened, you tend to go, hey, what the hell happened? And that's basically what you get out of this book. What the hell happened? There's 76 pages, I think it was. You could read it really quickly, which is kind of good news because you don't want to dwell on stuff like that for too long. Their special arrangement, or whatever you would call it, their relationship, it was special to him, surely, and her too. She said that she had found peace with God, and maybe she knew that he was mad at God and she was trying to help him out or whatever before she left. Ultimately, when someone's ill, they have to come to grips with their creator more so than their persons around them, because that's the direction they're going. And it's just a whole hard thing for the person being left behind to understand, I suppose, but the other person might understand it better. They're probably being visited, by God and told things, and revelations that we don't have yet. Um, but yeah, as far as blaming God, put that stuff in a box, put it aside, try to go on best you can, and He'll walk with you, because all we have promised in this lifetime is that we will have some trials and tribulations, and ultimately His walking with you is more important than anything you're to get out of this book. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Was it a good book? Who would I advise it for? I don't know. Would I advise it for persons only that had lost a spouse to illness? Maybe. Other people would relate to his profound feeling of loss, but not the other part of it, I suppose. And I don't know. Every person, so let's go into that angle. Every person that goes through profound grief like that is going to react different. And I've been through different types of profound grief, and each one was different. And depends on the situation, your age, whether you felt like you could have done something better or whatever. that's the parts that, for me, it was like, when I'm talking about the what the heck happened, what could I have done that would have made this situation better, made it not so hard, right? Um, or in certain situations, what could have not made it occur at all, perhaps? I don't know. Those kinds of blaming yourself things that you don't want to get into. This book, like I said, be careful with this book, because unless you want to dredge up your own thoughts, because he's all over the board, and it'll be that way with you too. You'll be going all over the board, starting to think. His thoughts will trigger your thoughts, and then you'll be all over, and then you'll be wondering about stuff that you might not have thought of before, that you don't want to or don't need to. And in that regard, it kind of made me bum this book a little bit. There's no silver lining, I guess is the way I have to say it, at the end of this book. They tried to say in the back, reading A Grief Observed is to share not only in C.S. Lewis's grief, but in his understanding of love, and that is richness indeed. Well, hey, you have to put that kind of statement on there to sell a book, I guess. But in reality, it was just him plotting grief and us looking into that window. He even wrote it with using secret names and secret authorship. So it was, you could watch the train wreck. He probably felt a little bit embarrassed about the way he felt, and, didn't want to admit those things. So, yeah, and there's no silver lining there. It's just getting past it. But yeah, it was a rough book. I don't know if I don't know.